Thanks for joining us again at the Clive Barker Podcast. Why not subscribe wherever you get your audio so you'll never miss a release? In episode 349, Jose and Ryan review Candyman, torture, and convention news, and we answer a couple of questions from our Discord. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive and advocate for his art. But Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and up to 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at Texas Children's Cancer Center. Click the side banner and follow the link to the Etsy shop to have a look. There you can find his most recent painting, Pandemics.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for episode 349. And today we're talking about some news items that we have here to discuss. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
Good evening, Jose. Good. I
stole your intro.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. And I just got back from work and changed into some shorts, and now I'm ready.
Goodbye pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually hot. It's like 70 degrees today.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I think here it's been kind of the same, even though, we're in opposite ends of the continent. I'm in the East Coast and you're in Alaska.
Yeah.
But it's just been rainy today. It got really hot for a while, but now all the squirrels are out. I got so many pictures of squirrels from my patio window and birds, and you got all sorts of what's that bird that's all red? It's got a little crest. Is that like a
cardinal?
Cardinals. Yeah, we got cardinals. We got all sorts of birds. It's pretty nice.
We have ravens and seagulls and eagles and stuff. Yeah.
That's got to be nice.
Yeah. And camp robbers. They're like little birds that steal your food.
I can't believe they call them camp robbers.
Yeah. Yeah, their name is just a description.
It's like calling bears picnic basket robbers.
Yeah, that's Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear. Yeah. Hey, boo-boo. What do we got today in the news?
Yeah. All right. Well, today from the Reef. BarkerCast. Breaking news from the Reef. We have the first one is Nia DaCosta's 2021 Candyman is now included with Amazon Prime. So if you pay for the Prime subscription, you don't have to pay a rental price to watch it. You can watch it for free as long as you're paying that membership.
It's included with your Prime subscription,
which is cool. And I'm sure it's a limited time because they're always a limited time. You put these things in your watch list and you think, I'll get around to that. And then it's not on the list anymore and you got to pay. So don't put it off. If you haven't seen Nia DaCosta's Candyman and you have a Prime subscription, go watch it. Don't let other people tell you whether it's a good movie or not. You should just see it and decide for yourself. I don't know why I'm preaching to our audience has probably all seen it already.
Preach, my brother. Preach. Preach from the choir.
Yeah, I loved it.
Me too.
I'm excited to watch the 4K Blu-ray. Actually, I just got a bunch of birthday money and I put it all towards 4K Blu-rays. So I'm going to get a big stack of 10 or 12 of them.
Oh, that's cool.
In the mail from Amazon.
Do you remember back when Candyman was coming out last year, there was a really cool website for the movie. I was trying to find that. Was it candymanmovie.com or something like that?
Oh, that's right. That had all that, all those links to the historical information and stuff.
If you type candymanmovie.com, you will get redirected to Universal's website, uphe.com/movies/Candyman-2021. And you can still, get all that stuff. They had parts where they were talking about social initiatives and painters that were involved in the art that shows up in the movie and all that stuff.
And the historical information about some of those actual historical figures that were killed in racially motivated lynch mob style attacks and stuff.
I'm trying to see. Actually, you know what? It might not be there anymore. I just opened the website. All they have is where to buy it, a trailer, and then all the other stuff on the top that says social and stuff. It's just social media for Universal. That's a shame. I need to figure out if that website can still be accessed. And if it does, I'll put that on our Facebook page and blog. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the show notes here, if we can find it.
Yep. Absolutely.
In time. But this, we record these on Thursday. Often we record these on Thursdays. That's what we're doing today, and then they go out on Sunday. So we'll see if we if we can figure it out between now and then. Can I tell you the Blu-rays that I ordered? I'm excited.
Go ahead.
There aren't that many 4K Blu-rays. I kind of searched around to see what was available. So I'm getting Pacific Rim, Kong Skull Island, Ray Harryhausen, the Ultimate 7-Film Collection. And,
wow, in Blu-ray? That's amazing.
4K Blu-ray. And,
wow.
And mainly I'm buying those because I had a DVD set of Harryhausen movies that I loaned to Brant. And I have not gotten it back, so...
our resident Nunciate Seagull
yes.
in the RPG.
Yeah, and that's cool because I'll just get the 4K version. And
okay.
So I got Godzilla, the 2014 U.S. remake of Godzilla. I got Godzilla 1998 with Matthew Broderick.
We did a commentary track for that one.
No, we did Godzilla 1985.
Oh, 1990. Oh, 1985.
85, yeah. So
there's been so many Godzillas.
Yeah, I know. Pick a name that hasn't been taken already, people.
Yeah.
And I got Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 and Mad Max Fury Road and Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Dang. And you're watching them on your PlayStation?
Yeah, PlayStation 5. So
nice,
those are all going to be coming in the mail. I haven't watched them yet, and most of these I'm replacing old Blu-rays, except for Ghostbusters Afterlife. I've never even seen that movie. I hope. Oh yeah,
because your birthday was like a few days ago, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I made a post on Facebook wishing you a happy birthday.
Yeah, that was
on our
awesome.
Facebook page. A lot of people were also joining in.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. I also took the day off on my birthday. I'm going to take this Monday off, too.
As you should.
Just because. I worked for 16
I'm working
hours
this Saturday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yikes.
Till midnight.
You had to go to court and, do your stuff.
Well, it was quasi-judicial, so it was like a judicial panel of peers who decide whether they go with the appellant or with the borough, which is me, and our value. But yeah, I won all my 3 cases.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're a regular Perry Mason.
That's right. I would play the Ozzy Osbourne song Perry Mason right now, except that we would get a copyright strike.
Yeah. But yeah, cool. I mean, Candyman is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And another movie that's made it to a streaming platform is The Torturer by Little Spark Films. It's streaming now on Plex. We added a link in the show notes direct to Plex website where you can watch The Torturer. So
I'm still kind of new to the idea of Plex. I thought Plex was hardware, like a Plex server, right?
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
Is Plex also an app that you can get on a streaming box? Like, can I get a Plex app on my Apple TV and not have to buy a Plex server?
I use the Plex website. So there's watch.plex.tv.
Yeah.
And you can watch free movies and TV through there. And then, of course, there's like a premium stuff. There's like you can get 200 free live TV channels and, upgrade to Plex Pass. I'm not sure. I don't really have an account on it. Yeah. I just go to the website to watch free stuff there.
Can you do that with The Torturer, or how does that? Let's see. Click on the link and find out.
Yeah, you can do it. You can now go to.
It says watch now.
Yeah, you can.
But if I
watch
click
a couple
watch now, is it going to say like sign up? You need to sign up if you want to do that.
It will just show you a couple of ads, and then I believe the movie will start.
Man, look at that. We're on a professional streaming platform, and we see our friend right there in the directed by Joe Manco.
Joe Manco, and written by Paul Kane, Shadow Rider himself.
Yeah.
That is
Little
awesome.
Spark Films and Sam Haines Studios.
And not just that, but there's a T-shirt of our podcast used in the film.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Right, and our T-shirt was on the show, and the reason that happened was because we met up with them at Texas Frightmare Weekend, and we did that video with them, and we gave them one of our shirts, and it found its way into a movie, which is way cooler than we could have hoped.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I hope everybody that went to Frightmare Weekend recently had a good time or is having a good time. I'm not sure if it's still going on. I think it's done for now, right?
Yeah, maybe that was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah. So I still see people posting stuff about their cosplay at Texas Frightmare Weekend. So, yeah, that makes sense because today is Thursday as we record this.
Right. Yeah, and so, of course, people know Paul Kane as he's an expert on Hellraiser. He's written 2 books about Hellraiser, and he's a prolific author in his own right. He made that Sherlock Holmes and the Servants of Hell, right? The Sherlock Holmes Hellraiser crazy crossover story.
Right, yeah.
Novel. And
you know what's funny? Last night I was looking at buying a monstrous 2-volume copy of the collected works of Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah.
And I could probably get like 1,800 pages for like maybe $12. And I was just like, that would be cool, but it's like, do I really have the time to read this? Because I used to read Sherlock Holmes books, paperbacks, and I always had a good time reading them. But I'm like, yeah, but if I buy like a complete set, am I going to go through the whole thing? And I was like, I don't know.
But it's like that with everything.
But I have very fond memories of Sherlock Holmes stories.
It seems like you can have money or you can have time, but you can't have both.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, we can't even make a podcast without my work bugging me.
Yeah. Or, eating into our sleep time. But, that's fun. This is the fun part of the show, is just us talking to each other about the news, getting excited about it.
Yeah.
The next thing is that, speaking of conventions like Texas Frightmare Weekend, there's going to be for our UK friends, our friends in England and other places. Nicholas Vince will be joining Craig Sheffer and Russell Cherrington at Horrorcon UK.
This is probably the last time we're going to be talking news about it, because it's actually, as we're recording this, it's coming up this coming weekend, but this is going to come out on Sunday. And I think by the time in the UK, this will be that convention will be over when this episode comes out.
Right, because this is supposed to be May 21st through the 22nd in Magna, Sheffield, UK. Yeah. So,
and I put it out at about 8 o'clock in the morning, Alaska time. So you add 9 more hours to that.
Right.
That's 5 p.m. on Sunday in the UK is when this episode comes out, if I don't sleep in or take too long to edit or whatever.
That's okay. We spoke about this on the previous episode, I believe. And this is just the update that, Nicholas Vince is also showing up, the Chatter himself, Kinski and Nightbreed, and he's going to be available for, your usual opportunity to get items signed by him, buy some autographed photos, and take a photo with Nicholas Vince.
And if you saw him, I hope you said hi from us at the Clive Barker podcast. But if you
Joe
didn't,
and Ryan.
If you didn't, that's okay, because you're hearing this after it's over anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's cool. I would totally go there.
Yeah, and Russell is showing some Clive Barker stuff, right?
Yeah, he's got it looks like signed prints and posters and original art, and signed books, I think too.
That's another good chance for collectors to get some of those things.
Oh yeah. Russell's got an amazing, huge collection, and he from what I remember, he even had multiple copies of certain things and books and stuff. So yeah, you'll be able to get some cool stuff from him. And speaking of Cenobites, the Late Horror Show pre-show had a guest star, Doug Bradley, and so we've got a link to the YouTube video of that, where they talked to Doug Bradley for about an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh, this guy has an enormous collection of action figures. Have you seen the video?
Yeah, just the beginning of it. I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
It's insane. Look at this. It's a table like covered end to end with different high tiers of mid tiers, lower tiers, higher tiers, gigantic. Like there's a Lon Chaney Phantom of the Opera, gigantic head, and an alien skull.
I couldn't do that because when I'm recording, I want to have stuff laid out in front of me to reference.
Right.
Yeah.
And also imagine dusting all this stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's cool.
I have Godzilla and D&D figures all kind of set out on a couple of bookshelves, and they get dusty.
Yeah, so Doug Bradley was answering some questions, and he was zooming in from his house, as usual, wearing
Yeah.
a Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde T-shirt. Yeah, I got to look into that movie, see what it's
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. And then so because it's also kind of a slow news day, we have I found a Collider article that says 10 underrated creature features that deserve more attention. And Nightbreed was among the movies listed.
Oh,
So,
wow. Number 10.
Yeah. Well, and I agree, except that I think that in the last decade, Nightbreed's gotten more attention than it ever has before.
Sure,
So,
yeah. 2009 and 2011 were big years that helped relaunch Nightbreed and,
Yeah.
with Occupy Midian and stuff like that.
And then 2014, the director's cut. 2017, we had the Cabal Cut Blu-ray limited edition by Seraphim. And there were two versions of the director's cut, right? We had the limited edition and the regular one. So
Well, yeah, but the cut was the same basically. It was just one had
just
more
two
extras.
editions of the same film. And one of them had the entire theatrical cut in HD.
The more meaningful one aspect of that all situation was that streaming platforms started playing the director's cut instead of the cinematic one from 1990, which was really great to see finally that being as much as some people like the cinematic, it's great, whatever. I mean, we loved it for, 20 something years, almost 30 years now. But yeah, I mean, it's great that, finally it had its time in the sun. It became a little obscure. Let's be honest about it. And now the director's cut is here, and that's here to stay. Just going through this really quickly, Collider. Number 10, Arachnophobia.
Yeah.
Number 9, Nightbreed.
Arachnophobia was a big deal when that came out, right?
It was,
I think
yeah.
It got plenty of attention. I think it's just been a little forgotten now, but
I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, that was fun, especially, the exterminator, what's his name? John Goodman. His character was really funny.
Yeah.
The movie that launched an entire arachnophobic generation.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's what everybody was talking about. Like, are you afraid of spiders and can you handle watching this movie?
Just like Jaws did that for people about sharks,
Right, yeah. It was a lot like that.
Nightbreed, they do talk about the creatures in the movie. Then we have Dog Soldiers at number 8.
Yeah.
Which is a movie that Bob Keane worked on, special effects, and Neil Cully from Image Animation. So it's a werewolf movie. I do recommend that. I've seen that probably 20 years ago.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I was just telling you before we started recording, you should probably try watching it if you like werewolf movies.
I do. I like The Howling is my favorite werewolf movie.
Yeah, without any spoilers, a platoon embarks on a trading mission in the Scottish Highlands, only to realize that they've wandered onto the hunting ground of a pack of werewolves.
I hate it when I do that.
Yeah, I know. And then you got the Deep Blue Sea with a giant shark.
I haven't.
It's not a very good movie. I don't think very highly of it. Oh yeah, Tremors, and rest in peace, Fred Ward. He just passed away.
Tremors is a huge cult following, right? I mean, I would say that it gets plenty of attention.
It's got a bunch of movies, and then it's got several seasons of a TV show.
Yeah.
I used to watch that TV show where they started having, like, what do they call them? The creatures, graboids. There were ones that flew. There were flying graboids. Yeah, they just opened it up,
They evolved.
They've evolved, yeah. There were different subspecies of graboids.
It's like with aliens, right? There were they all look the same, but when you're making toys, you got to make like a gorilla one, and here's one that looks like a bull, and here's one that explodes.
Sure. Yeah. You got to mix it up to make it interesting. Then you have Rogue, which I've never seen. Apparently it's an Australian movie. Crocodiles, in the Australian outback, man-eating crocodiles.
Everything in Australia kills you.
Yeah. And then there's the Faculty.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't think of it as like creature features. I mean, think I remember a little bit of the Faculty. I don't remember there being monsters in
this. If
this.
anybody out there is watching the Faculty, listen carefully for when they're calling the name of one of the teachers over the intercom. They say Mr. Danhauser.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
there you go.
And when that movie came out, I was a teacher, and all these kids started, telling me about this, so I got the movie and heard it myself. Like, oh, you're in the movie, you're famous. And they seriously believed that it was about me. And
sure, they're kids.
I'm sure that it's some kind of an inside thing, and it probably involves one of my relatives, but I don't, because everybody with that name is related to me, but it's not anything I knew about.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Then they talk about Slither, which is also it's pretty funny, and
I thought that was
there's these little movie. Yeah. I thought it was more funny than unsettling, but yeah. Then you have The Mist, which is based on a Stephen King novel, where you got those weird flying creatures that come in the mist.
And that horrible ending that's just a punch in the gut.
Yeah. Did you see the 2007 adaptation, or?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about The Fog for a while. Yeah, no, that's different director.
Oh.
Right.
Wait, no, so the one am I talking about the right one that they're referencing?
Well, this one was adapted by Frank Darabont in 2007. So the cast is inside a supermarket, and then a mist engulfs the town, and the creatures start showing up. Yeah. So that's probably
tentacles and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the one with that horrible gut punch of an ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
got Lake Placid, which is about a giant crocodile that some old lady fed and became super huge. And that's it,
I never saw Lake Placid. I mean, I remember when it came out, but
I've seen it. I've seen it on a bus. One of those long. I saw it on one of those long Greyhound bus rides.
Like watching it on a laptop or something?
Yeah. No, I was actually the bus played a movie. If you're like in one of those buses that takes like 4.5 hours, sometimes they have little TVs, and then they will just play some movie to keep you entertained. Yeah.
On the back of your seat, or was it like up where everybody could see it?
Yeah, up where everybody can see it.
I can't believe they would put a horror movie like that, where any kid, even if they're not plugged in or with their headphones or whatever, any kid's going to see that.
That's a good point, but they did it anyway. It was pretty entertaining, I guess.
Jeez.
That's the list.
All right.
Collider.
I agree with a lot of their list, and some of it, I think, some of those movies did get plenty of attention. But whatever.
Yeah, I like Tremors. I like Dog Soldiers, Nightbreed. Those are really good. If you haven't watched those, you should definitely watch them.
We would have a lot more attention on our blog if we made more articles that had top 10 lists, but we don't.
Top 10 Clive Barker characters.
Yeah. Yeah. We totally could do that if we wanted to take the time.
Who are misunderstood loners. Number 1, Cabal. Number 2, Tesla. Number 3. It would be pretty easy to make.
Oh my! Harry D'Amour.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Misunderstood loners.
Yeah. Well, they are.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So I did put out some feelers for topics. This time we had a couple of ideas from Kamui003 on Discord. So if you're not on our Discord chat, join. It's pretty fun.
Hi, Kamui.
Kamui says, yeah, since you guys have been playing Jericho Squad lately, I was wondering what you'd want in an official Clive Barker tabletop RPG.
Figurines.
Oh, man. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, and for as far as the setting would go, I would want it to be kind of like what we're doing, only just Imagica, right? Not like the entire Clive Barker universe all put together. I did that so everybody could feel comfortable with any kind of character that they wanted. Mm-hmm. But if it were a dedicated Clive Barker role-playing game, I would say Imagica, just like they did the trading card game based on Imagica. I think there's so much there and so much open to interpretation that you could make a whole game just around the 5 dominions. And
it wouldn't have to be limited to just what shows up in the book. They could open it up a little bit and make expansions and add some stuff to it. I would be all for that. But definitely the thing that I every time I look at these RPGs that come out, it's the figurines. If you're a fan of Sandy Peterson and his game company, they always have these cool like figurines of Cthulhu creatures and stuff. And I've recently rediscovered an old passion of mine from the past, which was fighting fantasy books.
Oh, right.
Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. Steve Jackson created the GURPS system. And I found out way after the fact that probably a couple of years ago, there was a big Kickstarter and they put out a bunch of little figurines, like hand-painted figurines of some of the monsters that show up in the books. And they're amazing. And I was like, oh, you can't get it. This was just a very limited edition for backers and stuff. Oh,
well, in Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, the figures are really important because you have that grid. And each space is 5 feet, and you have your specific movement that you can do in combat and stuff. So they play an important role, but we can't because we play over Zoom.
Roll20.
And Roll20. So we can't do it that way. So we have to use Roll20 instead as sort of a stand-in, which is pretty good. I mean, it allows us a little more creativity with the backdrops and stuff.
Absolutely,
But then. I really wish we could all be sitting around a table and playing. That would be great.
I would love to have a little, even if it's a resin cast or a pewter made, like Nullianak. You could see flathead tiger-like creatures.
Oh, yeah. The
Gekka-Gek.
Yeah.
Gekka-Gek, yeah. I mean, in some ways it's great to be able to read the book and imagine them on your own, but there's no loss for anybody in just being able to have little figurines of those made. Yeah. I would just totally collect them.
If anyone out there is really proficient in 3D printing and sculpting and you want to make those figures, we would love that. That would be awesome. We would do a whole feature article about it and spread the word.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Of course, I don't know if you'd get in trouble for, if you could sell something like that. I have no idea. That's up to Clive.
Because one guy can only have so many Pinhead figurines, right?
Right, yeah. That's all that's all you can get.
Or Candyman.
Candyman, Pinhead, and now Buttonface, Dr. Decker.
Yeah. So I would like to see the creatures, some of the creatures that exist. Like make the Zarzi, those gigantic bug creatures.
Yep. The Zarzi and Doekis and
Fishman,
Gravelins,
demons from the other realm, the Quiddity realm.
Right.
Zarapushu figurines.
Yeah. Oh,
I would love that stuff.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, the Zarapushu can be a plushie.
Yeah, I'd love to start with figures of our individual characters too.
Yeah.
I think we could do it with some of them. Like Zoe wouldn't be too difficult. I mean, actually, your character wouldn't be that hard either.
Yeah, it's just like a wizardy looking guy with a beard and a flowy robe. I mean, of course, there are tortured souls and there are Cenobites. Yeah. There's a lot of figurines based on Clive Barker stuff.
Yeah, but minifigures that are like D&D size.
Yeah.
I think we could, with like... there are sites where you can customize figures, and we could probably make one that looks like Zoe and make one that looks like your character and probably one that looks like... Actually, we could probably do all of them now that I think about it.
Wow. Even even Ralph with the giant hand backpack and stuff?
Well, the hand, we'd probably have to put a clay version of that on there or something.
Kit Bash, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's an idea to put a pin on.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Jonathan, you just get a seagull out of a little bag of animals.
Yes. I still have a package of clay in the fridge that's been there for like months. Oh. I wanted to plan. The thing I wanted to do is to make a little John Mischief. Because it's like his little heads, his brothers are not that hard to sculpt. They're literally just like 2 dots for eyes and a little, mouth, a little scratchy mouth.
Then if you do that, I'll have to quiz you, like which one is John Sallow and which one is John Moot and which one is John Serpent.
Oh, my God. I would have to create a little map of the head and say, this one is Moot, this one is Sallow.
Yeah.
Yep. And they all never know when to stop talking.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? Maybe that will still be a thing.
Yeah. So yeah, figurines, definitely, that was a great idea. And then my idea was to have the setting be Imagica.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, that's a perfect, or Weave World. I would also be happy with Weave World because that seems like there would also be a lot of stuff, and the placemat, the map, could actually be like a rendition of the Weave World.
Oh.
/ rug / areas that would be like populated, so that there could be like an Orchard of Lemuel Lowe over there in the map that you could create. You have little trees, and then you have a little figurine of Lemuel Lowe, this little fat guy.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Why we need to create a group to like push for this stuff.
Yeah, I know. Well, and Clive Barker is not really into role-playing games, so this hasn't really come up before. We briefly talked to them about when we were going to do this, but the conversation was kind of more about like rights and stuff, and not really quite understanding what we were doing.
We'll make him a fan, damn it.
Yeah.
We'll drag him out from LA and force him to be in our Jericho squad.
Wow.
He can play Apeximendios' ghost or something.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah.
We can dream.
Kamui 003's other question was, I'm also curious if there's any specific story you'd like a movie or TV adaptation of. I want to say, I harp on this one a lot. I think everybody should read Pigeon and Teresa.
For me, it would be In the Hills, the Cities.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the Books of Blood stories, most of them have been tried, as far as a lot of them went, never made it past development hell. We've seen all the notebooks of all the different ones that they tried, like Down Satan was going to be an animated feature. And Pig's Blood Blues was going to be another one by Anthony DeBlasi, after Dread.
That would be a weird one.
Yeah, that didn't go through. Of course, Midnight Meat Train was already done. Candyman was based on The Forbidden. How Spoilers Bleed would be... That's definitely like a Tales from the Crypt sort of a story, right?
Yeah, that could definitely be like a little padded and turned into a movie. I would imagine. Yeah, something like...
It's kind of a shorter, like, bad guys get their comeuppance kind of a story.
Yeah. Yeah, in that story I keep bringing up, Clive tries to place some of the action in Portugal, but then he kind of wrote Portugal like it was Brazil, and the Portuguese that he writes into his story is very wrong. It's not.
I thought the whole thing took place in Brazil.
Yeah, but then I think there's a part where one of the guys is in Portugal or something. Or is it Brazil?
I think it was all in Brazil, but maybe they weren't speaking Brazilian Portuguese.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been
a while.
So long since we talked about that story.
Yeah, I haven't read it in like 10 years now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But cool. Yeah, but yeah, there's been a bunch of those. There's also another one, Babylon's Children. I would be interested in seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Babel's Children. Yeah, Babel's Children. Yeah, because that would be like very topical for the world nowadays. I think to have a bunch of lunatics in an asylum dictate the fate of the world by communicating with the world leaders and just playing games with animals to make decisions.
Racing frogs, yeah.
Yeah, to make geopolitical decisions. That kind of seems like... What's going on?
And now it's not so funny, because now it's like that would probably be better than some of the things that we've had.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would definitely like to see, even though there's not a lot of story in that, is In the Hills, the Cities. So it'd be hard to make it into a feature film. I think you brought a good analogy that some of these stories are more like Tales from the Crypt episode kind of stories. Yeah. There's not a lot there.
And like they did that with the Yattering and Jack, right? It was on Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah. There's another world, a dark side.
Yeah. Well, like Coming to Grief is another one that's like that too. A simpler idea than a lot of his other stories. just the idea of grief manifested into this creature that kind of, follows you around and weighs on you.
That would be good. And Chiliad could be I could see that being an animated thing because it's more of a fable kind of story.
Well, geez, The Thief of Always. How long have we been hearing about that one?
Yeah.
Adapted.
It's going to be made. It's going to be animated. Then it's going to be
live action.
Yeah, and then it was going to be directed by
Oliver Parker.
Oliver Parker, yes, thank you.
So
he was going to direct that.
Yes, exactly, and that would have been great. I don't, it's so irritating to hear about all of these things that almost happen, or things that happen but they got messed with by overzealous studio executives and.
Yeah, or they can't find the money for it. That's the big thing too. Yeah, no money, no movie.
Yeah. And so many Books of Blood stories of studios all own the rights to them and they're not making them. And so I think that may have played a part in why the Hulu Books of Blood only had like the Book of Blood wraparound story in it and then 2 new stories.
Yeah, but those option rights do fall. They don't last for a long time. I don't think so. So
yeah. Well, but I liked that Hulu Books of Blood movie. And I'm going to put one more. I'm going to say one more time. We want that on physical media, please. Hulu. I don't want to subscribe to Hulu. I can't afford to subscribe to all of these streaming services.
Bring back Laserdisc.
That'd be fine. They can put it on Laserdisc. I'd prefer 4K. Right now, I'm into 4K Blu-rays. That's what I want.
Yeah, you're becoming a pixel snob. You're like, oh, yeah. This is not good enough for me. I can't see the action. I can't see the detail in the back.
Laserdiscs came out at the same time as VHS, and they were far superior to.
That's true. That's true.
Yep.
I remember going to a friend's house. I never had a Laserdisc, but one of my friends had Laserdisc, and he had like some anime movie.
Oh.
Maybe it was Lensman. Maybe it was something else. And he showed me something I thought was magical because it was like he had a one of those gigantic projector TVs and he had like a Dolby surround system. Oh, we're talking early 90s. Maybe.
So Dolby Pro Logic with just 2-channel stereo. Fantastic.
And I remember they were showing like this spaceship in space and you could hear the rumble of space. Yeah. And then they started speaking in English, and then he's like, look at this. I can make it also play the original. It's like, oh, wow. So you can actually like listen to 2 different tracks of audio if you want.
One of them, one would be in mono and the other would be in stereo.
Right. Was that like a spatial thing? Space.
Yeah, that was the best you could do. Is so if some movies had audio commentaries on the mono track.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah. That works for commentaries.
I remember playing Star Wars, and I was so happy to play it in stereo because everybody I knew had videotapes and they had mono VCRs. And so it would be such a theatrical experience because we ran the Laserdisc through our like console-style stereo. And so we had these great big Bose speakers on the left and right of the TV. And would be able to just blast the Star Wars with the opening 20th Century Fox logo and stuff.
I bet it was magical. And now it's even more magical, except for the, special editions.
Yeah. I got myself a 5.1 surround sound bar, but I haven't hooked it up yet because I've been spending so much time working that I haven't had time to take it out of the box.
That's fascinating. I have personally found through originaltrilogy.com, there's a group of people, there's a forum where you can be a part of that. And if you're smart enough and you can follow and talk to the right people, you can find some interesting things. Like there's a project to put out as high quality as they can scans of the original 35 millimeter film theatrical versions of both Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. They already did that for 2 of them, and now they're working on the, Return of the Jedi.
There was a DVD set that had the original versions on it. That was the
Yeah,
last time they did that, and they weren't in anamorphic widescreen. They
no,
were
it
in
was the
this,
Laserdisc transfers.
yeah, it was this funky version of widescreen that had the pillar bars on the
But just to
sides.
give you an idea of how big these preservation projects are, these theatrical copies that were being scanned and color corrected and, preserved by this group of people,
Yeah.
they can occupy like 50 gigabytes for the movie. It's really enormous.
Well, you would think that Disney would know that that's what people want, right? And that they would put that out.
You'd think so. Yeah, they could. They didn't even have to spend a lot of money on physical media. They could just put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But the thing is, George Lucas came out
Yeah.
that when they made the special editions that altered the negatives, and now we can never have those. I don't know. I think it's just a cop out. I think he just doesn't want to do it, and
Yeah, it would be an admission that that what he did is not what everybody wants.
Right.
Yeah.
But fans find a way.
I like the newer. I liked seeing the newer stuff, but I kind of want to go back now that I've seen that. Like the weird thing with Jabba the Hutt where Han Solo steps on his tail. I mean, that was. It's like, oh, that was interesting, and then there's that stand-in fuzzy guy that, was the bounty hunter, I guess. And he was standing in for Jabba the Hutt, and then they CGI'd over him.
Yeah. He's like this big fat guy.
Yeah, with a fuzzy coat.
Yeah, with a fuzzy coat. It's funny. It's like sometimes with something as culturally significant as Star Wars, it can become almost like a movie archaeology. People unearth these little things and like, hey, look at this scene and look at this thing that showed up in this show in like Sweden in the 70s about Star Wars. And then they discover that, oh, this character we never saw. It was cut from the movie. So it's funny to the way that fans will obsess and investigate and eventually find a way to get what they want, whether the director likes it or not.
I just heard about a technology that they're working on now where they can, product placement in movies, where they can swap it out depending on what the, on who the current person that they want to get ad revenue from. So maybe in the theaters it would be a Coke can, but then when you're watching it on streaming, maybe it would be Sprite or when you're watching it in the, on your Blu-ray or whatever, then maybe.
Or someone's drinking a beer and then in Saudi Arabia, they make it a different soda or something like that.
Yeah. And I don't like this idea because I want the movie to be the movie and I want, and it's like, it is what it is and you don't mess with it later.
Yeah. To me, that's not a movie anymore. That's a vehicle. That's now an advertising vehicle. And it kind of compromises the integrity of the movie. Yeah. I don't know. Some people might disagree, but we're not forced to watch stuff that we don't like.
Well, and product placement is okay in movies if it doesn't become a focus. I mean, if it doesn't distract from the movie, and it does sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So getting back to Kamui003's question, he says, curious if there's any specific story you'd like a movie or TV adaptation of. You had said like In the Hills, the Cities, and...
Babel's Children.
That's right. And mine, Pigeon and Teresa. If anyone hasn't read that, go find a book that it's in and read it. Oh my God. It's about there's a guy who is going through apotheosis because the angels have decided this guy is going to be, he's a saint and he's going to be raised up to be an angel along with the rest of them. So he performs the apotheosis ceremony and accidentally evolves their pet turtle and bird. So the bird and the turtle, then when the angel finds out about it, he doesn't want to get in trouble. So he has to chase them down. He's supposed to kill them. And so they're like on the run and they can talk and stuff because they're evolved and they're trying to get away from this angel. It's a crazy story and I love it. I would like to see that.
Yeah. I haven't read it. It's one of those that I've kind of missed. I'm hoping for them to one day publish that. Yeah, in a collection or something.
Phil and Sarah or Clive, if you guys are listening, I hope that one goes into the new collection of short stories.
Yeah.
I think everyone needs to read that one, and like Hermione and the Moon and Coming to Grief and all these other ones that got kind of put into these compilations of short stories that aren't Books of Blood stories and that most people don't know about. You know, you got to get like the London Book of Short Stories or Coming, or what was the other? Oh, there's Primeval is one of them.
Primeval, yeah, that's one that you sent me a copy once. Yeah. That one took months to get to me because there was a storm over New York, I guess. And when I got the box, it was completely destroyed. But the book was fine. That's fine. Good. Yeah. You had sent me some comics too, and the comics were completely damaged, and even the poly bags were torn. Jeez. And everything was like destroyed. It looked like someone had been playing football with that box.
That's when I was sending them to Portugal, right?
Yeah. But that's okay. Yeah. So what's coming up next?
Coming next, we have we're going to be doing A to Z of horror commentaries. Clive's recommendation, You for Unborn, and a commentary on the movie Rosemary's Baby.
Yay.
I don't know if that's the very next thing. We have to figure that out. But we're also going to have more news and interview episodes, and we'll go back to Jericho Squad. We just need to take more time for planning, and that's partly because I've been working so much that I haven't really had a lot of time to sit down and plan.
Right, and my life is about to change possibly in like 10 weeks or so. So I'm still holding off on news in that front, but yeah. Anyway, so more Jericho Squad and possibly some of those backer episodes that they've decided.
Yeah, we need to start working on that too.
Yep, so absolutely.
Backers, if you're out there and you're listening, we want to start planning those things too. I mean, we're totally cool, doing every other episode being a commentary or news episode and Jericho Squad, and we can go on doing those forever. But we want to get your episodes in. So let us know. We can, ours are not time sensitive. So let's get those figured out.
And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed. You can find the Clive Barker Podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. Watch for our annual Kickstarter fundraisers to get some cool stuff, and you can buy t-shirts on our TeePublic store. Go to teepublic.com and search for BarkerCast.
Thanks for listening.